friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan and today is day 14 of Vlogmas, which is Saturday. And as you know, today I am planning to do my most anticipated books for the first half of 2020. And it's going to be a top 15, but they're not going to be in any order other than release date. So these books are any books with a release date between January 1st or July 1st. There are two books on this list that I do not know the certain date of, but I threw them on because I am really excited for them. So they could potentially be coming out in the second half, but we'll get to those last. So we're just gonna start right in January. There are 3 books coming out in January on January 7th. And the first one is called Scavenge the Stars. This is a book by Tara Sim in which a girl named Maya has been held hostage on this spaceship. I think it's a spaceship for quite some time, and she's finally like gaining respect and stuff in this ship, and then one day she saves a stranger and she is worried about the potential for it causing her to be held captive longer. And I believe that's what it's about. I'm guessing that's what it's about from the synopsis I read, but it does sound super exciting. The next book has actually already been released as a story, but I am particularly interested in picking it up as a paperback. I do own Vicious the paperback, so on January 7th, the Vengeful paperback will be released. And I'm really weird. I like having hardbacks with hardbacks and then paperbacks with paperbacks. So I have not read Vengeful purely because there is no paperback yet. So on January 7th, I will finally finish the Vicious kind of duology. Well, not particularly finish if there is going to be future books, but at least I'll be caught up. And the third book coming out on January 7th is A Heart So Fierce and Broken, which is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely. A Curse So Dark and Lonely is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast with a little bit of a twist. The main character does have cerebral palsy, so it has really good representation. I was a little bit turned off by the main character throughout the first half of the book. She had a very I'm not like other girls kind of tropey vibe, but by the end I really loved the story, so I am excited for the sequel to come out. And then the final book I'm excited for in January is coming out on January 21st, and that is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson, which is the 3rd book in the Truly Devious series. I was not the biggest fan of Truly Devious, but then I read The Vanishing Stair and I really enjoyed that book. So it made me think back to Truly Devious and make me wonder if I actually did like Truly Devious. And it's always nice when a sequel makes you reconsider a book. So that was really exciting, and I'm excited to pick up The Hand on the Wall. If you aren't aware, Truly Devious tells the story of a girl who goes to a specialized boarding school for students with very specialized gifts, like one person's an author, one's a filmmaker, and Stevie herself really wants to be a crime scene investigator or a detective. And there actually was a murder at this mansion, this boarding school, way back when it was first founded. The founder's child and wife were stolen and potentially killed, and so Stevie is on the mission to solve this never solved crime and mystery. Then in February, a very exciting month. There's only 2 books, but I am super excited for both of them. On February 4th, a new duology will be released by Adeline Grace, and it is the first book in it is called All the Stars and Teeth, and this is a book about a kingdom under the sea with mermaids that seek vengeance through song. And that's really all I need to know to be excited about this book. Anything about the sea, about mermaids, about mythological creatures, awesome. So I'm super excited to read that one. And then probably my most anticipated release of 2020 is coming out on February 11th. I'm super excited. And that is Heart of Flames by Nikki Palpretto, which is the sequel to Crown of Feathers. Crown of Feathers was the book I received in my very first Outcrate back in February, and it tells the story of Veronica, who has spent her entire life wanting to be a phoenix writer, and one day her and her sister Val come across phoenix eggs and hatch them, but something happens, so Val and Veronica kind of are falling out, and Veronica goes on this quest to be a Phoenix Writer for herself, and she comes across this camp where they are actually learning to be Phoenix Writers, but the issue is they only accept boys. So Veronica kind of goes undercover as Nick and joins this crew, and it's such an amazing book. There is a strong female lead, there's phoenixes, there is a male-male romance. It's so good. So Heart of Flames is being released, and I couldn't be more excited. I am on Nikki's first writer sheet team, so I'm already excited just because I do have access to speak with her as an author like 24/7, which is the coolest experience. But regardless, this book would be on the top of my most anticipated releases either way, so yeah. Then in March, my birthday month, we have a book being released on March 3rd by this kind of like low-key author. I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name is Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, she is coming out with an adult work. It's like a mystery, crime scene mystery about a murderer, but it involves a half fae, half human, and a fallen angel, and I'm really excited to see how she does in this new world of writing. And that book is called House of Blood and Earth, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. Then on March 9th, there is a book being released called The Raven and the Dove. This is by Lynn Davis, and it tells the story of a princess who is being forced to be married, but she wants to go on one last adventure before she gets married, and she ends up falling for a guy she met who was fighting a dragon or something like that. The synopsis was a little hard to follow, but I'm still excited to read the book because it sounded really intriguing and the cover's really pretty. Then in April, we have a book coming out on April 7th called Sword in the Stars, and this is the sequel to Once and Future by Corey McCarthy and Amy Rose Capetta, and that book tells the story of a girl who is the new reincarnation of King Arthur, because she's being chased and then she pulls out Excalibur and everyone's like excited because she's the new reincarnation and Merlin's a teenager, and it just sounds like a really interesting book that I wish I had read. So I do plan to pick up that book and Sword in the Stars next year. Then in May, we have a book coming out on May 5th called Aurora Burning, which is the sequel to Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And this book tells the story of a space crew on the mission to stop a space war, and I just love space crews and flight academies and like any kind of like close-knit group with a specialized niche that I'm just really excited. Then on May 19th, we have a very exciting release. It is the prequel to the Hunger Games called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that is involved with the Hunger Games kind of fandom, but it is the story taking place 40 years before the Hunger Games was started or like founded. So that sounds super, super interesting. And then on May 26th, we are receiving the library edition of the next book in the Avatar: The Last Airbender comic series called Imbalance. So that is volumes 1, 2, and 3 coming out in the hardback omnibus, I think is what it's called. And then on June 23rd, we have Seasons of the Storm by El Casimano coming out, and this is a Romeo and Juliet type relationship between seasons, like actual winter, summer, spring, fall. So it sounds super interesting. In this world, each season is actually a person who is chosen to live over dying, and then they are kind of embodiments of the seasons now, and each season is tasked with killing the season that comes before it so that they can be the season or something like that. So spring kills winter, summer kills spring, fall kills summer, so on, but 2 of them end up falling in love. So sounds super weird but also really intriguing at the same time. And then the 2 other books that are kind of unknown all around as far as like title and release date and everything that I'm still really excited about and wanted to mention are the ACOTAR series is continuing, and I'm really excited for that book to come out. If you don't know what ACOTAR is, it is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and that tells the story of Feyre, who kills a fae and is then sentenced to life in the world of fairy. So super, super, super good. I freaking love that book. Like, And then A Court of Mist and Fury, the sequel to that, is just so much better, so yeah. And then the second book that I don't really know that much about is the sequel to King of Scars here by Leigh Bardugo. And as you all know, Leigh Bardugo holds a very special place in my heart as an author, and I enjoyed King of Scars, so I'm excited for the Nikolai duology to continue. But that was my anticipated releases of 2020, so let's go ahead and do number 14 in my advent calendar. Alright, let's see who we got. Oh, we got Mr. Filch! So here is Mr. Filch, and he's looking a little bald, and he's even holding Mrs. Norris. That's so cool. I don't know if you can see her, but that's a really cool detail to add. So that was all for today's video. Please let me know down below what is on your most anticipated releases of 2020, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow for a very special Harry Potter edition of Vlogmas, in which I force Anthony to watch The Sorcerer's Stone. So excited, and I will check in with you tomorrow on how that goes. Bye, friends!